Maybe you have an idea of how the headlights could be fixed.
All Sven's Bricks here. So we've been leaked a couple of images of the new Ferrari F40, and considering that this one was originally made in a 6 stud and we're now seeing it in an 8 stud, I thought it'd be interesting to compare the two a little bit and also just to discuss whether it's actually possible to get an accurate representation of this car in an 8 stud wide, as getting the look right for my 8 stud conversion was very challenging. Now these images have been leaked by a French retailer called Fnac. We've only got one picture of the box art and another picture just of the car itself, and I think in this picture in particular you can see where my biggest issue lies, and that's with the headlights, which was also where I had the most trouble when I was converting my 6 stud wide build into the 8 stud. Now LEGO have actually gone for a wide open hole here where the headlights are supposed to be, which I find just a little bit awkward. It sort of makes it look like a droopy dog. And if you compare it to the real car, then you can see that there is supposed to be some glass over the headlights here. And I think that's the bit that's so difficult to capture, because if you do it in an 8 stud wide, then 2 studs is a bit too wide and 1 stud is a bit too small. And then not only that, but it's not perfectly square. It has this angled off bit. And I think whilst LEGO have attempted to capture that by the looks of a printed part or a stickered part along here, it's still going to be very square at the front. This angle here, you can't see it so well from this angle, but I think that this is going to be very 90 degree, this angle here, compared with the original car, which is going to slope around a lot more here. This particular part is so iconic on the F40 that this is the bit that they really need to find a solution for before they release this. I just don't think that it looks right. I also think the car is a little bit too long and a little bit too squared off in places. And then not only that, but then it also comes down from the back here, which it doesn't do so much from here. They've tried to imitate it by dropping a plate there, but it's not enough, and it just leaves it looking blocky. And yes, I know it's LEGO, gosh, shock horror, blocky LEGO, but I sort of feel that if they can't do the car proper justice, then maybe they shouldn't do it at all, or they should come up with some new pieces that resolve some of these issues. Now, it will be interesting to see some other angles of the car, particularly the head-on angle. I'm interested in seeing. I'd like to see the car I'd like to see it from this sort of angle to get a bit more of an idea of how the headlights look. It looks as though they've done a pretty good job with the white and the orange light inside there. And then I also like the fact that they've brick built the vents in the bonnet. However, I'm less keen on the very clear glass. I think it would look better with the smoke coloured glass, the brown or the black smoke coloured. This is a bit too blingy for the F40. It also would have been nice to have seen some new alloy designs for this. Whilst these ones kind of work and they kind of look like the originals, it would have been nice if they'd at least made them more metallic. In terms of new pieces here, I can't see anything that's brand new for this model. I can see the wedge-shaped plate there, which is pretty new, and the wedge-shaped tile there, which is also pretty new. And then these ones also came out last year with the Pagani, amongst others. But I can't see anything else that's brand new on this one. I do really like the red spoons, though, for the wing mirrors. So the question is then, is it possible to get this design any more accurate? And having sat with it myself for quite a few hours a year or two back when I did my original conversion, I would argue that it's not possible. If we take a little look at Rebrickable, there are a number of F40 mocks. And of course, I'm talking about the 8 stud wide ones here. So of course, I know that there's a Creator F40 that was released quite a while back now. And that one is very accurate looking, don't get me wrong. So I am talking about the minifig scale, 6 or 8 stud wide builds. And there are a few that come close. I think that this one here in particular is the most famous one. And I by no means mean to criticize the designers of these. I think it's literally just a case of it not being possible to fully recreate the F40. But it's the fact for me that the headlights are the most iconic part of the car. And it's the fact that it's currently, in my view, impossible to get this right, which means that you can't quite nail the design. You can see that the back here looks pretty good, and this designer has gone for the dark coloured transparent tiles, which are the ones I mentioned. And I think that the side even looks pretty good here as well, but I think that the front looks sort of more like a Testarossa or some other Ferrari, but definitely not the F40. And again, then looking at the back here, you can see that the back is really well done. I think that this looks really accurate. But as soon as we flip back to the front, it's just not there, unfortunately. Let's have a quick look at this one as well. And again, the designer here has gone with 2 of the cheese slope pieces at the front, which I did try for mine. And again, it just doesn't resemble an F40 for me. Finally, I'll just have a quick look at the Barnius one. Barnius is the designer that did the Countach a couple of years back before the Speed Champions made an official one. But even Barnius struggles, you see? He's also gone for 2 cheese slopes at the front, and he also doesn't quite capture the look of the real F40. That is what the F40 is supposed to look like. Much more curved, much more rounded, much more unique looking.
So what do you think? Do you think LEGO should have gone ahead and released the F40 before it was possible to really recreate the design? In my opinion, I think they need to come up with a solution for the headlights in order to do it proper justice. I mean, some might argue that the Countach from last year also failed to really capture the look, but I absolutely think that that was close enough to the design to go ahead with, and the McLaren F1 really nailed it. But the F40, it's such a classic design, and if you can't get the headlights right, you're just not going to get the car right at all. So let me know what you think. Are you happy that this is being released? Maybe you have an idea of how the headlights could be done that I haven't thought of. If you'd like to see me attempt a 6 to 8 stud conversion of the old F40, you can click the link up here. I also have a number of other Speed Champion conversions and an upcoming video on a little scene that I've made for the new Audi e-tron. So to make sure you don't miss any of that, please subscribe to the channel, hit a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.